Well, let's hear next from the first man to make an open movie. He's Ton Roosendaal. He is the head of the Blender Foundation in the Netherlands. He's also the developer of the 3D free graphic software that was used to make the movie that we're going to see a bit of. It was released in 2006 and it's called Elephant's Dream. It's a short film. If you missed it, don't worry, because it is available along with all of its production files for download on the internet and, of course, obviously, for remixing. Mr. Roosendaal is now working on his next project, which is an open movie called Peach, and we have the great good fortune that we're going to see a world premiere, namely its trailer. So Ton Roosendaal talking about free for everyone, open movies, open games. Thank you.
I would like to start showing the last 2 minutes of Elephant's Dream. I hope it works with sound and everything. Okay.
Why? Emo, why? Why can't you see the beauty of this place? The way it works. How perfect it is.
No, Prue. I don't see. I don't see because there's nothing there. And why should I trust my life to something that isn't there? How can you tell me that?
Emo.
Answer me. Brooke, you're a sick man. Stay away from me.
No, Emo, it's a trap.
It's a trap. At the left side you can see the Hanging Gardens of Babylon. How's that for a trap? No, Emo. Oh, at the right side you can see. Well, guess what? The Colossus of Rhodos. No! The Colossus of Rhodos. And it is here just for you, Brooke. Just for you.
It is there. I'm telling you, Emo, it is. It is.
So this was a fragment, the ending of Elephant's Dream, which we call a 3D open movie. And we call it an open movie because of 3 aspects. So we used open source for creating the movie. All the graphics has been made in Blender, edited in Blender. The movie was licensed with an open license, Creative Commons, and we published the entire database of the studio. Everything the artists have been creating in Amsterdam for 7 months was put on 2 DVDs and published on the web freely for everyone to use. So how that works, that kind of open content, and why it works for us is going to be the theme of my next 20-minute talk. So my name is Ton Roosendaal. I'm chairman of the Blender Foundation. The 3D open content, oops, next slide, is related to open source. And I think people do know open source. It has been part of the talk and the opening keynote. The aspect of open source, the fact that you share it, and especially you have to let it go, is something that is extremely difficult for artists. So they know, okay, open source business, I can understand it, you share technical data, but why would I ever, as a filmmaker or as an artist, give it away for free and have other people messing it up or making it into Viagra advertisements or whatever evil things you can think of. Artists have a lot of problems understanding the concept of open content and why it helps them. So I would like to start with introducing Blender. So Blender is an open source program, it's an open source project. It is a cross-platform 3D creation for artists to make animations, to make games, to do video editing, rendering, compositing, game editing. Everything you need as a 3D artist is bundled in the program. It has over 2 million downloads every year. I think our user base is growing into the million almost. The really active users might be a little bit less, but people really consider it as a standard to have Blender installed on their system. It's one of the tools they have. If they have a computer, they want to have Blender. Blender is totally developed online via the development community. There's over 50 daily active developers working on the software, fixing the bugs, adding new things, and do whatever is needed to make Blender a good tool. Behind Blender is the Blender Foundation. This is a public benefit, non-profit organization established in Amsterdam. It made a little bit of a good name in 2002 when it raised 100,000 euros with the user community to buy the rights from the owners of Blender to make it open source. At that time, the company developing Blender closed down. The intellectual property was still somewhere in a drawer, and the user base said, it is too important, this software. Let's make it open source, and then we try to develop it further. The Blender Foundation was established, the money was funded in only 7 weeks, and we could start an open source project. The main goal of the Blender Foundation, and therefore also why is there a Blender, is exactly this. So to make 3D tools and technology for independent and small teams of artists. I mean, I'm here in Germany, but when I speak in America, where Blender is really big, everybody always asks me, that, why isn't Blender in Hollywood? I mean, why don't you even think it's interesting to have Blender in Hollywood? Well, for me, it isn't interesting. I want the opposite. I want to have Hollywood in Blender. It's important for people who use Blender, which is far bigger than Hollywood, to have the technology, the knowledge, and the competences Hollywood is really good at, of course, but I want to democratize it. That's why there's Blender. The reason why we organized the Elephant's Dream Open Movie project was firstly because we needed a good demo. People think, okay, open source, it's free, it's fun software, but it isn't good enough. You cannot make professional, good-looking movies with it. I wanted to do that, so it was important to find funding and means to have people working for a while in a studio with all the tools and everything they need to do it. What we also found out was the second aspect that made this project successful was that this actually is for Blender the development model. In big studios, there's always a lot of software developers supporting the artists. So instead of hiring a lot of developers who are making Blender into a better product, we decided to hire the best artists in the community, give them a big challenge, and make sure that the developers in the community support them. And developers, they like to work online. They don't want to be in a lot of crowded environment with lots of other people. They want to sit at home, work on software, but artists, they like to interact, they're more social. This worked really well. And because of the profits we even made by selling the DVDs, we even sold DVDs after the movie was published on the web, we could found the Blender Institute. It is located in Amsterdam, in the Docklands, beautiful area. We employ at the moment 14 people to work full-time on Creative Commons, open content productions. Our main goal is to realize these projects in open licenses, using open source software, especially 3D software, and explore open content development models. Our first project, which started in October, is called Peach. I mean, in our community is a little bit of a standard to codename projects with a fruit. We started with orange, which is also the Dutch national fruit, and this project is nicknamed Peach. It is supported by a Dutch fund who likes to support open source development,